this is going to be a great episode, multiple episodes actually, because it was so long that I had to break it up. But I think this one is the most interesting one, which I know it's a low bar, but better is better, and I'll take it. This is all about genetic testing and how that can help you make better choices about how to train, how to diet, how to rest and recover, which is just awesome. Because when we show up at the pool or the gym every day, we are faced with literally an infinite number of options for what we could do, right? That is so stressful, it's scary, it sucks. And so to have something, data, that can take that infinite list and pare it way down and tell you, hey, of all the things you could be doing, these kinds of things are what you should be choosing from. And this stuff, it's not going to help you because it's not suited to you. That is invaluable. And so what I did was I sat down with nutritionist Erica Beine. And you may be thinking, I know that name, Erica Beine. She has been working a lot lately with pro swimmers, including Caleb Dressel, including former Fike Swim ambassador Ali Tetzloff. And it was sitting down with Ali that really got me excited about this because, as we all know, there is no one-size-fits-all training regimen for anybody. Everything is specific to you. You're different than anybody else out there. You're different from me, I'm different from you. What if you had data that could tell you, hey, this is the kind of athlete you are. These are the kinds of things that you need to be focused on. And forget about this stuff because it's not going to help you because of your genetics. And so in sitting down with Erica, I had an initial consultation where I talked to her about my goals, and she told me about the program, of course, sent me a test kit, which was 2 swabs inside the cheeks, 30 seconds each, and then send those swabs out to a lab. It took a few weeks to get the results back, but man, it's at least 40 pages of data all about me. And so then I had a sit down with Erica to walk through it all and make sense of it, which I feel like we didn't even get through all that much of it because there's just so much there. And so anyway, without further ado, this is part 1 of my conversation with Erica about my test results. Here we go.
So when we go through that first pages like 4, through 5 and 6, it kind of gives us just your result without a whole lot of explanation when it comes to that. So what I would like to do, if you're cool with it, is start down in the vitamin section, because there are some major kind of keys down there, especially 2 of them that I would definitely like to talk about. Otherwise you're pretty good down there, but there's definitely some key pieces. So if you're on not on the printout but online, it is page 28. It shows on, maybe it is on the printout too. So vitamin A is what we would start with down there.
Wait, 28. So not the overview on page 4.
No, we're going to go down to 28.
Okay. All right. This is 28. Got it.
Got it. Sweet. So when we talk vitamins, this is not about what was in your body when you did the testing. This is genetically what is going on with vitamins once they go in. Do you absorb, transport, convert them well? Okay. So nothing to do with how many sweet potatoes you ate. Vitamin A result will stay the same. So vitamin A, we don't have any concerns there when it comes to vitamin A. Okay. Vitamin D, which is the next page, which should be page 29. I don't know if you can go into vitamin D. This is great because it tells us that the GC gene, which I'm not going to highlight because you're not on screen share, I'm used to screen sharing. The GC gene in that orange box it's talking about is looking for a protein that acts like a glue. Okay. And so it's looking for how much vitamin D glue that you have in your body, that when you put in the vitamin D, it's going to attach to that glue and then move where it needs to go and do its work. Okay. The good news is you have enough of that protein glue. Excuse me. The bad news is we don't put a whole lot of vitamin D in our body. So on that
Right.
chart of the foods, out of salmon, sardines, milk, tuna, eggs, and shiitake mushrooms, is there anything that you eat a lot of pretty regularly that's in your routine?
These days I do eat a lot of salmon.
Good.
It's at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 of my lunches a week.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it's pretty boring, but it gets old. Um, but I also am a pretty steady drinker of milk. The only two things I drink are water and milk.
Okay.
Um, Tuna, I eat tuna as often as I can because I love it,
Mhm.
but I like it when it's done when it's done well, and
Mhm.
sushi and tuna steak and all those things that it's kind of hard to do on your own at home to do good tuna. And yeah, I do eggs several times a week.
Okay. Good. Awesome. So you're getting some good vitamin D sources naturally. The sun is also another way to get vitamin D, and you're in Texas, right? You're
Oh yeah.
Texas. Yeah. So you're getting vitamin D, but it can
Yep.
be easy to get low in vitamin D. So something, even though you don't have genetic, susceptibility towards low vitamin D levels, I still say as an athlete, it's helpful to stay on top of it. So, if you get a regular checkup with your doc, I would definitely suggest getting a vitamin D blood test at some time, because it
Mhm.
tells us then where your levels are, especially depending on the time of year. If you're indoors more at certain times of the year, is that vitamin D level going down, and our ability to recover, build muscle mass, fatigue, exhaustion, does that stuff get worse? Right.
Right.
Have you ever had a D test?
No.
No, yeah, that's not a normal draw. So it's not something that somebody will just typically draw for fun. But it is something, especially if you've experienced some of that really big fatigue and exhaustion, that's something to check. Okay. And just kind of stay on
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that will really create some major fatigue in the body. Okay.
So, I hear a lot about milk, and
Hmm.
uh, it seems like there's a camp that says you don't need it when you're an adult, and a camp that says
Yeah.
people do. Um, but it sounds like this is saying it's I should be still be doing it every day.
Yeah, and so you are 100% lactose tolerant, so we don't have any concerns on that. I'm not either pro milk or against milk. I'm more about what your body's responding to. So we know we test two parts of the milk piece. One is the fat. So you are moderately sensitive to dairy fat. You have no
Huh.
problems with lactose. Okay. So things that are lower in dairy fat or plant-based are definitely better options for your specific body. I don't tell everybody that, but for your body, that is definitely a better option. Okay. As
Okay.
long as it's not, so I would stay away from your whole milks, if you can go 1%, or if you can go with the items that are dairy fat free, right? Those are going to be better choices for your body.
Right. This skips away from vitamins, but I did notice where it talked about, I'm trying to find where in here it mentioned like my susceptibility to fat or milk fat or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And I was really surprised by that because I have a very hard time keeping on weight. And so anytime I hear anything about, if I see something like that, it's like, really?
Yeah. So it's not even so much like it's going to make you put on weight. It just means what it's doing in your body creates inflammation, disrupts gut health and digestion. So not necessarily it's going to make you gain weight. It's just making
Mm,
that it's creating some things going on inside that we don't really want happening. If you drink some dairy fat or have some dairy fat, it's not that big of a deal. But like where I grew up in Wisconsin, you drink tons of it.
right.
And that will impact the body, right? And it adds up over the day. Cheese on this, milk here, yogurt here, sour cream here. Like it just adds up and adds up and adds up. And it can be pretty impactful on your body. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And along with that, here on page 19, is skipping again, it talks about how I have a, a moderate risk of rebound weight gain.
Mhm.
And it's, the little indicator is that be very cautious,
Mhm.
which again is really surprising because I actually have a very hard time keeping weight on my body.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that one actually talks about starvation mode. So how quick does your body kick into starvation mode? So what this is telling us, between that 3 to 5 hour mark, if you don't eat something, what is going to happen is your body is going to start shutting down metabolism, slowing things down. Not even so much on calorie expenditure we're worried about, just so that your body's functioning the right way. We don't want your brain, your digestion, and everything to kind of slow down. And then it also tells us that when you don't eat for that 3 to 5 hour mark, your body will switch over from burning fat as fuel to burning muscle as fuel really quickly. So I do see a lot of people with this one actually have trouble holding on to weight or muscle mass, because there's this thing called sleep that we do every day, hopefully for like a significant amount of hours. We should be, right? That
Right.
you're not getting up in the middle of the night to have a protein shake. You're in starvation mode and your body's eating your own muscle mass away pretty quickly at some point. Somebody like me who's in the green, I'm going to burn body fat and burn body fat and burn body fat for a long time. Your body switches over much quicker than mine does. So it's harder to hold on to it.
Yeah, because I go to bed at like weighing 220 and I wake up weighing 213.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always assumed that that was just water weight, but is that not the case?
That's probably not the case. It's part of it, but you're switching over and burning up your muscle mass as fuel to keep you alive in the middle of the night. So what we do there is, I'll tell people, if you're in that body sustaining or weight gain mode, that we want to put some kind of good protein into your body before you go to bed, not right immediately before. So some people will do a protein shake. Some people will do a high protein snack like nuts, pistachios, plant-based
Yeah.
yogurt with protein powder, and other people will do BCAA capsules just because they don't want to eat or drink anything. So a BCAA capsule doesn't impact their digestion while they're sleeping, but BCAAs will help keep your body out of starvation mode.
Right. I usually do Icelandic yogurt.
Yeah.
With I have to dress it up a bit because it's a little bitter. But berries, granola, honey, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do have to have that, or I wake up, even if I'm not feeling hungry, I have to force myself to eat that, because every single time I wake up in the morning feeling pretty hungry.
Sure. So you can even do that in like a BCAA capsule, which would help your body, give you even more protein, or take that Icelandic yogurt and put in some unflavored like whey isolate or
Uh-huh.
casein isolate, or a casein powder with unflavored. You can mix that into anything, and that's going to be able to help. Again, casein is the slowest digesting form that you will use to help protect muscle mass. Whey is more quick absorbing, which is better post workout, but casein or pea protein are going to be your better options when it comes to proteins at night.
Huh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about BCAs a little bit more, because I've had some younger swimmers that I work with, who are like age groupers in high school, and I kind of give them a hard time because they talk to me about all these different things that they could be taking,
Yeah.
And BCAs is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hearing more about that, but is that something that is it more protein related?
Yep. So BCAAs are the building blocks of protein, so branched chain amino acids. So some your body naturally makes, your non-essential, those are ones you have to get externally. So you have to get through food or supplementation. Essential ones, then you do need to get from food. So non-essential your body makes, that's not essential for you to get them through food. Essential means you have to get them through your food sources, okay, or a capsule type of situation. Okay, so that's important, because depending on your diet, you may eat a lot of those naturally. You may not eat a lot of those naturally. So if you are lacking in those, your ability to build muscle mass, recover well, is not going to be super great. Does the average person need BCAAs? Not really. I mean, there could be certain instances where, yes, it could definitely be helpful. It's actually really big in the weight loss industry right now too, because if it allows your body to burn body fat or instead of muscle mass in times of calorie restriction
Yeah.
can help with weight loss. So it become really popular in the weight loss industry. So that is why people will take BCAAs, because they're probably not consuming a lot of them, the ones that they actually need, through food. Right,
Okay.
especially kids at high school, college students. Now, that's not why they take them, because they just take them because they hear of this thing on TikTok and then they think they should take it. And they're like, okay, I saw on TikTok, right? That's what
Right.
but
The
it can
number
be
of
really,
times, the number of times my son comes to me with a TikTok video about something nutrition related
Mhm.
or muscle building, like exercise related or swimming related. And oh my gosh, it it scares me.
I don't know. I can't tell you how many high school kids I talk to that are like, well, do you take any supplements? Yeah, I take this thing. Well, I'm like, what is it? I don't know. I saw it on TikTok and they said to buy it, so I bought it. I don't know. Is it good? Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, and no good sentence starts with I saw on TikTok. There's never a
Right.
good start to a sentence. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, another tangent. But I want to make sure I get this answered. So, you know, I'm admittedly I am susceptible to, you know, things that pop up on the internet.
Mhm.
And from what I understand, there's a little bit of a fad going on right now with citrulline.
Citrulline. Yeah, that's definitely been a bit more of a fad. I've heard it a little bit more often than anything
Yeah.
else. Yes.
And what little I looked into, it seemed to actually show some benefits for both like powerlifters on one study and endurance athletes like cyclists in another
Mhm.
study. And so it was like best of both worlds.
Mhm.
And so I started taking it for like 3 days
Mhm.
just to give it a shot. It was a citrulline, it was a powder.
Yep.
And I I wasn't I don't know. This was during taper, so not a great time to start trying shit. Um, but I wasn't feeling good those days I was taking it in the water.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was wondering what your take is on that.
Yeah, I don't know where the L-citrulline trend came about. There's somebody I recently talked to was doing it. Oh, because they were making their own pre-workout. That's where it came from. They were making their own pre-workout mixture, and they were talking about that. But I've heard it in other cases. So it is a non-essential amino acid, so that means your body naturally makes it. You don't have
Right.
to go get it elsewhere. Now, if you give your body more, it turns your kidneys converted into what's called L-arginine. And you'll find products out there like L-arginine, arginine extreme, right? And that helps with muscle, really just that pure energy with recovery. It can help in a lot of different ways that can help you when it comes to making sure that you do get that, so that you can have that energy. I
Yeah.
don't know why, I mean, honestly, I am not a super huge expert on each individual BCAA, but I don't know why you just wouldn't take L-arginine and bypass the whole conversion process and just give your
Hmm.
body the energy. There's other things that like it's actually used to treat erectile dysfunction, high blood pressure. Like, so there's some other
I read
dementia,
that too.
Alzheimer's
Yeah.
disease. I mean, for brain health, it's also something that is helpful. But if you're looking for pure muscle performance, I personally don't know why you just wouldn't take L-arginine instead.
Okay, so that'll be a different discussion. But the hook for me that got me trying citrulline
Mm,
was that it said that studies had shown that it helped endurance athletes finish races stronger.
hmm.
And as you know from our initial like
Yep.
consultation, whatever, my big problem is finishing long course races.
Hmm.
And so I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Um, but it sounds like what you're saying, the arginine, if these studies have validity, then that's the shortcut to what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
there
mean,
is,
do I even need it?
I don't know if you necessarily need it. I mean, you could experiment with both of them, quite honestly. Citrulline does do a good job of expanding the blood vessels. It boosts levels of nitric oxide in your body. But there's actually other stuff out there like beetroot powder, or, there's other
Really?
things in capsule format that if you're looking for extended endurance in a race, there's other ways to go about it. But it's worth experimenting with. It's not like it's going to harm your body. The citrulline, yeah, it's not
Right.
necessarily bad. You find it in a lot of pre-workouts because it is something to help give you that pure energy to help
Yeah.
get you and get your body going.
Okay, I do want to come back to that after we go through the results, because that's the big thing for me. Finish races stronger.
Mhm.
And I have to find a way to help my body do that, of course, legally.
Mhm.
And so I want to talk about, pre-workout. I want to talk about arginine and all that stuff. But sorry, going back to vitamins.
Yeah, no, that's good. Some of these are all intertwined, so it's helpful to talk about all of them, sometimes at multiple times. So that was vitamin D that we did finish up there. On page 30 is vitamin E, which we don't have any concerns on there for your body, which is great.
Yeah,
And then
I
we
do a
get down
lot
to
of spinach, a lot of
good.
avocado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do a good job with that in your body. We don't have any concerns what your body's doing with that when it comes in. And then vitamin B6, which is on page 31, which is the next one. That
Yeah,
one
this was I
really,
was concerned about.
yeah, so the next two are something, actually next three, this one and the following two are something that we definitely need to talk on. And it will surprise you once we do talk on it, because it's something that's a little bit hidden on the report that not everybody catches. So with B6, there's 3 areas of your day that this is going to affect. If you get low in vitamin B6 because you don't absorb it as well, okay, you can eat a lot of foods that are high in vitamin B6, which is great, but it is hard as an athlete to get enough vitamin B6, okay?
Really?
Because your body depends on your B vitamins to really supply the physical stress and demands on your body. Okay, so you
Okay.
gotta have a gas tank of B vitamins, and your stress physically continues to go to B vitamins, where you hear the term adrenal fatigue all the time. Swimmers are in adrenal fatigue. Of course, they are in adrenal fatigue, right? They're all in adrenal fatigue if they're not doing the right stuff. So that's when your body starts to demand physical stress, but you have nothing in the tank. So your
Okay.
body draws from other places. We don't want that. We want to keep your tank of B vitamins in a good place. Okay. And when you have
Okay.
issues absorbing or converting, which is the next one we're going to talk about, that can really hinder your ability to keep that tank high.
Okay. So for keeping the tank high, when I saw when I saw this, the first thing I did was I went out and I bought um, a bottle of B complex
Mhm.
vitamins.
Mhm.
And what's that?
Yep.
Oh, is that okay?
So it depends on what kind it is, because your body has genetic mutations on the next gene that doesn't allow your body to convert synthetic vitamins into the real form. So if you got a
Oh,
synthetic B complex, that actually is working against your body and making things worse. Energy, fatigue, endurance, brain health, it's actually making things worse.
oh, let me see. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and I know you're curious now. There's no way you can't not look now.
Okay.
All right,
So
what you get? Oh yeah. Yep.
nature made.
I'm gonna put $100 down that synthetic. So let's see, let's say on vitamin B12, find vitamin B12 for me.
Yes.
Okay. And does it have this word? Oh, shoot. Does it, yep.
Cyanocobalamin, alamin,
Cyanocobalamin, that's synthetic. And then under folate, it probably says folic acid
folate.
or vitamin B9.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
folic acid.
Synthetic. So once we get down to the next one, you're gonna go, oh geez,
Oh,
crap.
geez, crap.
Yeah, that's all right. You don't know. That's why we did this. Now you know, right? That's what that was actually working against your body.
Oh,
So we don't want that to happen. So let's talk about vitamin B6 and what's happening here. First thing it can affect is your sleep, ability to fall
okay.
asleep, stay asleep, get good sleep. Do you have any troubles with sleep?
No, actually, I sleep like a rock
Good.
and all good.
Good. Awesome. That's because B6 is required in your body to produce melatonin. Okay. And so if you have enough B6, you produce the right amount of melatonin at the right time of day. Our body clock is
Okay.
on and we shouldn't have any sleep issues, which is great. The next thing it can affect is our energy. So we need vitamin B6 to absorb the energy vitamin called B12. Okay. So
Okay.
you can take 5-hour energy shots and B12 gummies all day long. But if you don't have B6 in your body, it is not absorbing well. So
Okay.
that can really relate to fatigue and energy and in every sense, not just training, but even daily activities. And the last one, hit words today in today's world, is serotonin and norepinephrine on those it's about the third line down. I'm highlighting my screen, which I always do, and I know you can't even see this. So serotonin and norepinephrine, those are good mood feelings in the brain, and that means that your body is producing good mood feelings, so we feel well. If you don't have enough B6, you can't produce enough good mood feelings, we don't feel super well. Okay. So if our mood, our energy, or our sleep are off, our day is going to be pretty off. So it's definitely important to keep our vitamin B6 levels in a good place in our body. And those food sources on the chart, do you see any of those that you eat a lot of? Like, I mean, I know you mentioned you love tuna, so that's a superfood for you. We see tuna already on 2 of your charts.
Well, I don't eat a lot of tuna, I eat a lot of salmon. I do eat a bit of turkey. Definitely a lot of chicken, a lot of brown rice, a banana every day, spinach pretty much every day. Oftentimes I just sit there at dinner pulling spinach out of a bag and snacking on it.
But
And
it has
avocado.
to be cooked to get the vitamin B6 out of it. So
Does?
but on the next one, folate is raw spinach. So you're good. You're fine. You're getting good folate out of raw spinach.
Okay. So, all right. So that's on folate's on page 32.
Yep.
All right. So, but does it make it even better to have it both raw and cooked?
Yeah, you can do both. I mean, there's definitely some days you might have cooked, some days you might have raw. It's all right.
I really don't like cooked spinach.
Yeah. Then, I mean, the only way I'll eat it is if I put it in like pasta or something, if we make it, right? That's about the only way I'll eat it. Or like a chicken kind of thing. I have a couple recipes I've created that have some cooked spinach just to bury it in places so you don't taste it. But otherwise, I think most people do eat raw or throw it in a smoothie raw or frozen. Totally fine. Getting
so
it
looking at this, I mean, I'm greatly exceeding the percentage daily value. Now, is that the percentage daily value for an athlete or for an average person?
So that's for an average person. And if you look back at how we actually just, we're talking about this recently, why the percentage daily value came about. Okay, it was created, I believe, in the 1940s, during World War II, so that your body, they base the 100% daily value on the bare minimum your body needs not to be like severely deficient, not to be thriving, but 100% is basically so you don't create any of those like kidney failure, rickets, any of those other, things that most of us don't even hear about anymore in our day because we get so many vitamins and good food in America. But that's what 100% is. That's like a D- in school, right? You're barely just passing. To get 100%, to really be a true 100%, to get an A or an A plus, you need significant amount more. Plus, as an athlete, again, your body uses that as physical stress. It allows your body to output based on what has been inputted. So you have to be able to have more.
So looking at page 31, then how do you adjust this for an athlete? Do you multiply it by 4, 5?
There's not necessarily a number to multiply it by. I just say when I'm working with athletes, try to get as many of those as you can throughout your day. If you like bananas, awesome. Have one for breakfast. Kind of spread out that intake through the day. Like you said, salmon for lunch. Maybe you eat brown rice for dinner. Try to spread that out through the day if you can. Avocados any time of day. There's a lot of those can be used in multiple multiple times a day. And
Yeah.
then a lot of athletes do need a supplement as well with what you got. It was a B complex, but the right version of the B complex.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So since we're on that, which brand do I look for, or just any brand that doesn't have those words in it,
Yeah,
basically?
let's go down to vitamin B9 and I'll show you what we're looking for. So any questions on B6 at all before we move down to that one?
No.
Okay. So vitamin B9 folate. So I'm going to explain the difference between folic acid and folate and why you don't want folic acid in your vitamins. Okay. It's in a
Okay.
lot of our foods, right? It's in pasta, breads, crackers, vitamins, B
Right.
complexes. It's so much stuff. It's in body armor and emergency. It's in everything. So
Yeah.
folic acid, or actually I should start down here. In the orange box, that gene that we test is called the MTHFR gene. Okay, you see that
Okay.
highlighted?
Yep.
Okay, swear word gene. That's what I had some grandma just rattle off what it looks like.
Oh.
It was hilarious. It was awesome. I hope she, hope she keeps doing that. And there's two pieces to this gene that we test. One is right kind of next to that. It says C677T. And there's another one down below that starts with an A, and that says A1298C. I know based on your list at the bottom, which I think ends up on page 34, you have a yellow by the MTHFR A1298C piece of that gene. Okay. So if you go to the vitamin sections and you go scroll across on MTHFR-A, you have an A.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in yellow. So that means it's a single mutation. Okay. So not as severe as what a lot of people have, but still really important, especially as a swimmer. Super, super important.
Okay. So wait. I did mean to ask you about 34. What do the colors mean?
Yeah. Well, so colors mean green, 0
Good.
mutations.
Oh.
Okay. Least or most common result in the world.
Okay.
Red, or I'm sorry, I should go to yellow next. Yellow, single mutation. A little bit more uncommon in the world. And then red, double mutation, and that is the most uncommon, rare result in the world.
Oh, I have red. Do I need to be worried?
No, red is, you are a red on lactose, which means you are 100% tolerant, but that's the most uncommon result in the world. The most common is to be lactose intolerant.
Wow. So an ice cream eating contest is
You could go for it.
Right up my alley.
Yeah. Some people have the genes to win hot dog eating contests or ice cream eating
Really?
contests. Oh yeah, we've actually, somebody might watch this at some point and be like, "Hey, I remember talking about that." Yeah.
So for those folks watching this, if they wanted to enter the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, where would they show up red and as a sign they should be a hot dog eater?
They wouldn't necessarily show up red, but when we do the what is it, the overeating, trying to go back up here, the high appetite, which you do have, high risk of overeating, and you have the moderate risk of rebound weight gain, and the addictive tendencies and impulse eating, which you also have, you could be really great at hot dog eating contests or ice cream eating contests.
Because in college, I was not the fastest swimmer, of course, being at Texas, but I was by far the best eater.
Yeah.
So
yep. You should
at least I could say I was the best at something at Texas.
You should have followed that dream. I went to Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Yeah. Done it. That would have been good. So with that MTHFR mutation, you have a single one on the A piece. And so there's two important pieces to that gene, okay? So the first is your ability to convert synthetic vitamins into the real form. So when you take that B complex, which is synthetic, your body should be able to, at 100%, convert those B vitamins that are synthetic into the real form. So folic acid, it says right up there in sentence 2 on page, what are we on? Page 32. It is synthetic. Okay. The natural form of vitamin B9 is called folate. So when you eat folic acid, your body has to convert all of that into folate for your body to use it. Okay. So you should be able to do that. You can't when you have a genetic mutation there. Okay,
Oh,
so yours isn't severe as everyone else's, but what happens is you're only going to convert about 80% of that folic acid into folate.
huh.
Okay, so if you're like the standard American and rely on folic acid to get your sources of folate, a lot of people get deficient. Okay, especially if
Okay.
you're using a synthetic B complex to try to get your folate. Now, these foods on the chart are super high in folate, which is good. Remember, we want folate in your body. Do you see any of those on there you eat a lot of?
Well, spinach,
Mhm.
black beans, avocados. I've picked up more broccoli lately.
Good.
I'm trying to switch some of my carb intake from breads, even though I'm really good about staying away from white breads. I'm trying to switch some of my carb intake from wheat bread to vegetables and
Mhm.
broccoli in particular.
Mhm.
And I definitely do beets.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, good. So you're getting some good natural sources of folate, which is great because if you get low in folate, common symptoms, number one, exhaustion,
Hmm.
inability to recover. With women, menstrual cycles can get really disrupted.
Hmm.
Cramping, can get a lot of cramps, feet, toes, calves, like hamstrings, get a lot of cramping in the body. Mental health can get really impaired. Depression and anxiety, mental health concerns are really connected to mutations on this gene. So
Yeah.
definitely not something that we want to have happening
Now,
in the body.
now I noticed it said folate is essential for nerve function.
Mhm.
Is that speaking specifically to how you can get exhausted both muscularly and in
Mhm.
terms of your nervous system, where your nervous system gets overtaxed
Mhm.
through the workouts that you do?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So it's kind of like that B vitamin tank, right? If it's you don't have enough in it and you don't have enough folate, you're going to get taxed and your body's going to try to draw energy from other places. And you're not going to have enough to support that. And it can definitely create some issues there. Mhm.
Okay.
So we want to have enough of the real natural folate in your body. But do you remember how much folic acid your body converts into folate?
Yeah, 80%.
So how much is left in the body?
Yeah, what happens to the 20?
Yeah. So what happens to the 20 is the kicker. So what happens to the 20 is it stays in your body and it will take your body at least 3 weeks to fight folic acid to get it out. And while
Wow.
it's in your body, this is what it does. It goes and looks for these cells in our body called, well, I call them super cells. Okay. And their job in our body is to destroy things that grow that make us unhealthy, cancerous cells, tumors. Their number one job is to blow up cancerous cells and destroy that. Okay. Now, if we have leftover folic acid in the body, it looks for those super cells to destroy, attack, and weaken them.
Huh.
Not good. Okay.
Okay.
So when people have genetic mutations here, that is very linked. And there's a lot of research that shows that to the breast cancer, colon cancer, autoimmune disease in the body. So not good things that have happened. So when I have people that have this, and your mutation is pretty minor, it's not super severe, but there's people who have it way worse. And so we talk about trying to keep folic acid out of your diet as much as you can control, because even the person that does process it fine, it takes a lot of work to do that. So your
Hmm.
system can get backlogged and clogged
Okay.
up, and we don't want that. Okay.
Okay, so, but just to be clear, I should be seeking out vitamins
Mhm.
that just don't have those keywords
Mhm.
in addition to eating all this good stuff.
Right. So there's vitamins out there. If you see the word methyl in front of that, so methyl folate, that means it's already methylated, it's already converted. If you see the word methyl cobalamin instead of that cyano, because cyanide is or cyano is cyanide based. You don't want to put cyanide in your body. Okay.
Yeah.
We want methyl cobalamin. So Clean Athlete actually does a really good B complex that's methylated. There's other ones on Amazon, but you want
Okay.
Sport Safe, Clean Athlete probably has them, or Thorne have the best one out there.
So who is them? Which one?
Thorn or Clean Athlete.
Clean
And
Athlete?
yeah, we get a 50% discount with Clean Athlete. So I'll send you the instructions on how to get that discount.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Yep, super awesome. So it's $11 and it lasts you 2 months for the right kind of B vitamins
Oh, okay.
with the discount.
And just for people looking here, I don't know if this is going to show.
I can see it.
Can you really?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll put a freeze on that. All right. Okay, so what else with bees?
Yep. So we want to keep folic acid out of your body as much as possible. Can you always? No, because you're going to travel. You're going to keep it. You're gonna eat Five Guys maybe someday. You're going to get it in your bun. But what you eat at home, control it 100%. And then when you travel to go to competitions, really pay attention to it. Olive Garden uses folic acid. The Old
Oh
Spaghetti
yeah.
Factory uses folic acid. Okay, you can get gluten-free options. Gluten-free and organic should not have folic acid in them. So any kind of pasta or bread or bun, if it's gluten-free, it's not going to have folic acid in it. So it's an easy way to know to avoid that when it comes to traveling for sure. Okay.
Okay. And maybe this is skipping ahead a little bit, but
Okay.
am I correct to be shifting my carb intake from wheat bread to vegetables?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem at all. And bread that has good ingredients that doesn't have folic acid in it, then that's
Right.
definitely fine to have some at some point, but things like broccoli have a ton of carbs in them. Those are great sources of carbs and they give you other good benefits as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't be afraid of a bread like the Ezekiel bread, which is awesome, such good nutrients. You have to keep it in the fridge or it's going to go bad in like 2 days. And you don't want that, but that's a good sign. That means it's pretty
Right.
real, right? That's a good sign. If you
Right.
keep your bread in the fridge, that means it's a good sign. Okay. It does
Yeah.
not all the junk. So that's the folic acid piece. The other piece related to swimmers. If you weren't a swimmer, we wouldn't really be having this conversation. But your body's ability to naturally detoxify. So when you get exposed to chemicals and toxins in your day, that gets into our bodies, right?
Mhm.
And so your body should flush those out at 100%. Should. When you have that mutation there, your body only flushes 70% out. So
Wait, I thought I
30,
was at 80%.
that's folic acid. This is talking
Oh.
about toxins. Now we're talking about toxins, which also apply to
Oh.
this. So toxins, chlorine, pool chemicals. There's toxins in your air pollution, your water, your
Right.
toothpaste, your dish soap, your plastic that you touch, your phone over toxifies half the people in America. Right? There's so many toxins.
You're telling me I'm only flushing 70% of my toxins?
Yep. So that means your body's holding on to 30% in your system. So chlorine, that's the big one that you're exposed to every single day. So
Well,
there's not a whole lot you can.
I think back to growing up in some of the pools I swam in where the chlorine level, I mean, it had to be like 10 times what it should have been.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, as you know, it's that like it's in your lungs. You can't take a breath without coughing. Am I gonna die now? Like what?
Oh, you're not gonna die.
Did I absorb all that and it's still like just
Well, it probably did a little bit of damage in there. Yeah, you and me
great.
both. Yeah, it probably did. So what it does is when it stores in your body chemicals, toxins, chlorines, all of that, that looks for your fat cells to store in. Okay. First, that's where it goes. You don't have a lot of fat cells. It runs out of those pretty quick. Okay. The next place it goes is our thyroid. And it will mess with our hormones. I've seen so many high school aged swimmers, especially women, that have been diagnosed with underactive thyroids or Hashimoto's now. It's unbelievable. And I mean, one athlete I've had was diagnosed with that due to chlorine toxicity of the thyroid. So that is really messing with people's hormones and their thyroid. And if your thyroid's messed up, you have got a lot of issues coming your way. It's not a good thing to have impacted and being kind of messed with. The other thing is your brain. It will go and attack your brain. So headaches, migraines, mental health, right? So you have a higher risk when it comes to the links with Alzheimer's, dementia, because that attacks the brain over time,
Well,
right?
knock on wood, I never get headaches.
Good. Awesome. So one part is chlorine that you're exposed to, but all of those other lifestyle toxins we talked about, right? What we want to do is make sure we're using as plant-based or as natural type of stuff as we can. So over time, if that's not something that you use, we just switch out toothpaste. If the ingredient label is this long and you can recognize 2 words, there's a lot of chemicals. If it's this short and you can pronounce most of the words, less chemicals, right? And over time, we just switch out anything that touches your skin, anything you clean with, and we switch that out to lower your toxic impact on your body, right?
Huh.
Huge.
Okay. And of these vitamins, is there anything that helps flush the toxins better?
So you can do things like an antioxidant that can help, but the number one thing to combat chlorine is vitamin C. So there's actually a vitamin C loading process you can go through that one starts to detoxify how much is stored in your body. And then you find where what's called your homeostasis, how much your body intakes every day to combat what you're exposed to every day. And you go through a loading and decreasing process to find that, to detoxify, and then come down where you just maintain.
Huh.
Yep. Pretty simple actually to do.
Okay. But it's getting an antioxidant. That's like just same deal. What is it? Clean sport,
Clean
clean
has an
athlete.
Yep, Clean Athlete actually has one that you can take at night because it does better in your body at nighttime. So you take that. But any of the high antioxidant rich colored foods are one of your best bets to combat that, right? So your dark greens, your berries, your fruits, your vegetables, those are awesome antioxidants in your body. Okay.
Okay.
So those are great ways to go about that. People say red wine and dark chocolate. I mean, no. Fruits and vegetables are definitely your better choices. So, and then getting an antioxidant on top of that can definitely help the body significantly too. I have one of
Okay.
my clients that's going through a liver and kidney detox right now. And she said within a week, like her vision was better. She could concentrate better. It's just amazing. Like, because our liver detoxifies our body.
So what did she have to do for that?
She's working with me with a product that we offer that is a gut, it's a colon and kidney and liver detox, and it's 3 different capsules and there's 4 phases to the program, and you go through and it detoxifies your liver because nothing detoxifies your liver. Our liver detoxifies us, but nothing detoxifies the liver.
Now,
So
is this is this like some of those fads that come and go where you only drink water and
no,
a squirt of lemon for a
no,
week and you don't eat anything else? And
no, it's not a cleanse. There's a difference between a cleanse and you need to be around a bathroom 24/7 and a detox. So the detox, you don't actually change your diet. You just continue to, kind of live a healthy lifestyle. If you weren't eating healthy, you try to limit the fried foods, the sweets. But you just add there's a pack in the morning and a pack at night that you do with your meals. And then you have to drink a ton of water. That's the only major shift, that you have to drink a ton of water with it. So it's
okay.
around a gallon or so a day that you have to drink. Otherwise, that will not do well because you have to flush, right? That's helping your body flush that stuff out.
Right.
So
Right.
that is something I've had some people go through, and I did it myself. I know the doctor that designed it and has been running it for years on some pretty well-known athletes in all areas of this, not just our sport, but of the world. And so I trust him and I trust what he's designed, and I felt significant differences in it myself. So proper detox can definitely help. There's research that shows even if you hold on to so much chemicals and toxins, you can create fatty liver disease, right? The non-alcoholic fatty liver disease,
Right.
especially if you have the high risk of inflammation. Plus, women are a little more susceptible towards that than men. So you have toxins stored in your body too, just the stuff your body has to fight and spend energy on, right? Like to try to fight that is just amazing. It can't recover and do
Right.
what it needs to do when it's fighting all this junk that's in our body.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with an antioxidant.
Mhm.
and
Yep.
see where that gets me.
Yep, antioxidant, vitamin C, we're definitely gonna wanna talk vitamin C and
Oh yeah, vitamin C.
Mhm.